And welcome to AEW Daily Elite. My name is Dani. Thank you for tuning in and for being with us today. A bit of a hot mess, divas. I just got home from work and I have an hour commute, or at least that, but and the joy of working with 2-year-olds. So again, welcome today. This is actually my first video doing this, so thank you so much for tuning in. And a little bit about myself. I am a wrestling fan. Obviously, if I wasn't, I wouldn't be recording this video. I'm also a preschool teacher by day and wrestling fan by night and weekends. I've been watching wrestling for, if I gave you my age, that's classified information, but let's just say that I've been watching it for years, and I don't even remember my first video, or I should say wrestling match that I've ever watched. I know that I was watching with my maternal grandmother, God bless her soul, who raised me, and she got me into it. And I remember taking naps on Saturdays as a kid so I could stay up and watch wrestling. And I didn't go to bed till like midnight when it was over. So it was actually kind of cool. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about today, actually my husband just gave me this idea, was that to talk about the return of Saturday night's main event. And this is I'm an 80s kid, so I grew up watching Saturday night's main events, which were very special for me because I got to watch them with grandma, and we would have snacks, like we would have pizza, junk food. Didn't make my dad too happy. But then again, for those of you that are parents or grandparents or even children or grandchildren, what does a grandmother do that makes you happy as a mom? You know, and it's kind of like, the joke is, if grandma says no, or I should say if mom says no, grandma says yes. And that's like true story. So I used to love watching them when I was a kid, and they were just like really the highlight of the month for me. I should say whenever they were on. And I'm an 80s kid, so I grew up watching Saturday night's main events, which were very special for me because I got to watch them with grandma, and we would have snacks, like we would have pizza, junk food. Didn't make my dad too happy. But then again, for those of you that are parents or grandparents or even children or grandchildren, what does a grandmother do that makes you happy as a mom? You know, and it's kind of like, the joke is, if grandma says no, or I should say if mom says no, grandma says yes. And that's like true story. So I used to love watching them when I was a kid, and they were just like really the highlight of the month for me. I should say whenever they were on. And when they ended, I believe the year was 1991 or 92, I believe. I'd have to look that up. It really changed things for me. It changed things. And specifically because it was not the same format. They brought back a resurgence. I believe it was 2005 or 2006. They had like some sort of revival, and then they did away with it. But it's going to be interesting to see what they bring us. And I think what made the Saturday night's main event so special back then was these were kind of like pay-per-view quality matches that we were seeing for free on a local TV station. Like, you were tuning into NBC, and of course Saturday night's main event was on in place of Saturday Night Live. And these were just, one-of-a-kind matches that you were seeing here. But then the rest of the time, with the people involved in these matches, you always had a jobber. And fun fact, there is an episode, I believe, of Wrestling Challenge, maybe? Or maybe it wasn't Challenge, I don't know, or it might have been Superstars, that had Jack Foley, who we later known as Mick Foley. So, Cactus Jack, Dude Love, that type of thing, which I thought was kind of cool. And I remember watching it, I looked at him and I go, that's Mick Foley as a jobber. So that was actually kind of cool. And that was circa like 86, 87. Special back then was these were kind of like pay-per-view quality matches that we were seeing for free on a local TV station. Like, you were tuning into NBC, and of course, Saturday Night's Main Event was on in place of Saturday Night Live. And these were just, one-of-a-kind matches that you were seeing here. But then the rest of the time, with the people involved in these matches, you always had a jobber. And fun fact, there is an episode, I believe, of Wrestling Challenge, maybe? Or maybe it wasn't Challenge, I don't know, or it might have been Superstars, that had Jack Foley, who we later known as Mick Foley. So, Cactus Jack, Dude Love, that type of thing, which I thought was kind of cool. And I remember watching it, I looked at him and I go, that's Mick Foley as a jobber. So that was actually kind of cool. And that was circa like 86, 87. So again, I'm kind of looking forward to this Saturday Night's Main Event thing, because I'm curious to see exactly, now that Vince is no longer running WWE, what trips, Triple H, call him trips, what trips it's going to be able to do with this. So this will be an interesting thing. It'll be an interesting format. Like, what type of format are they going to have? How often are they going to air them? Is it going to be a monthly thing, or is it going to follow the same format that was in, the 80s, in the mid 2000s, so they had it. But either way, I'm really looking forward to this, and I'm really curious to see what's going to be different, much like when January 2025 comes around and Raw actually ends up on Netflix, and that's going to be completely different as well. So that is it for today. I'm actually going to go down, have a little dinner, work on some work. Life of a teacher. I'm a preschool teacher and I have 2-year-olds, so I tend to bring homework with me. And I'm going to try to get in some homework done because I have 2 quizzes, I think 3 quizzes due on Saturday. Oh, the perils of being a working college student. Okay, but anyway, thank you so much. This has been Dani. You can catch me with Connor, Adam, Jason. Hi, Jason. Hi, everybody.